Got it? Here's your content exactly as provided. Number 15. The decoy effect. Imagine you're at the movie theater, craving popcorn. You see two options, a small for $3 and a large for $7. Which do you pick? If you're like most people, you might grab the small thinking it's better value, or you might splurge for the large if you're really hungry. Now, what if a third option appears, a medium for $6? Suddenly, that $7 large looks like an absolute steal, doesn't it? Your brain just did a little mental backflip and you probably went for the large. Congratulations, you just fell victim to the decoy effect. This isn't just about popcorn. It's a sneaky psychological loophole designed to nudge you toward a more expensive option by introducing a strategically priced, less attractive alternative. It works by messing with your perception of value. When you only had small and large, it was a simple binary choice. The medium, however, isn't really there to be bought. It's the decoy, the ugly stepsister of the pricing world. It makes the more expensive option seem disproportionately better by comparison, even if the better option isn't actually a good deal on its own. It's like finding a slightly rusty car for $5,000, then seeing a shiny new model for $10,000, and a slightly less rusty car for $9,000. Suddenly, the shiny new one looks way better, doesn't it? The rusty $9,000 car acts as a cognitive bridge, guiding your wallet straight to the most profitable item. Basically, your choices aren't always about what you want, but how cleverly they're presented to you. Number 14. Anchoring bias. You walk into a store eyeing a new gadget. The price tag blares $1,000. You wince. That's a lot. But then, a smaller sticker below it reads, sale price, $700. Suddenly, $700 feels like a bargain, a victory, a testament to your shrewd shopping skills. You've just been anchored. Anchoring bias is your brain's tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information it receives, the anchor, when making decisions. That initial, ridiculously high price wasn't necessarily the gadget's real value, but it set a mental benchmark, dragging your perception of what's fair along with it. This trick is everywhere. Think about salary negotiations. The first number thrown out, no matter how outlandish, sets the stage for the entire discussion. If you start by asking for $100,000, even if you settle for $80,000, it feels like a win compared to if you had started at $70,000. Car dealerships are masters of this. They'll quote you a sky-high initial price for a vehicle, and every subsequent discount or add-on removal makes you feel like you're getting a deal, even if the final price is still above what you intended to pay. Your brain latches onto that first number like a barnacle on a ship, stubbornly refusing to let go, even when it's clearly irrational. Basically, the first number you see isn't just a number, it's a mental handcuff. Number 13. Loss aversion. Imagine you're holding a crisp $100 bill. Now imagine someone offers you a coin flip. Heads, you win another $150. Tails, you lose your $100. Would you take the bet? If you're like most humans, probably not. Even though the potential gain is larger than the potential loss, the pain of losing that initial $100 feels disproportionately worse than the joy of winning $150. This, my friends, is loss aversion. A powerful psychological glitch where the pain of losing something is roughly twice as psychologically impactful as the pleasure of gaining the equivalent amount. This bias makes us cling to what we have, even if it's not serving us well. It's why people hold on to losing stocks, hoping they'll rebound, rather than cutting their losses. It's why you'll drive an extra 10 minutes to avoid a $5 parking fee, but you won't blink at spending $10 on an impulse purchase you don't need. Companies exploit this constantly. Free trials that auto-convert to paid subscriptions? That's loss aversion at work. Once you have the service, even for a short time, giving it up feels like a loss. Return policies are designed this way too. They let you own the product, making it harder to part with, even if you don't truly love it. Basically, your brain is wired to avoid feeling like a loser, even if it means missing out on being a winner. Confirmed. Here's your content exactly as provided. Number 12. The endowment effect. You're at a garage sale, and you spot a dusty, chipped coffee mug. You think, maybe worth $1. The seller, however, has a completely different idea. To them, that mug isn't just a mug, it's their mug. It sat on their shelf, held their coffee, and absorbed their memories. Suddenly, they value it at $5. Welcome to the endowment effect, where simply owning something makes you value it more highly than if you didn't own it. It's irrational, it's pervasive, and it's why your old junk suddenly feels like priceless heirlooms when you're trying to sell it. This isn't about objective value. It's about emotional attachment and the immediate sense of mine. You buy a concert ticket for $50. A friend offers you $100 for it. You might turn them down, even though you just doubled your money. Why? Because you own the experience of going to that concert, and giving it up feels like a loss, even if a rational decision would be to take the profit. Real estate agents know this. They'll tell sellers their house is worth more, playing on their emotional connection to their home. Buyers, on the other hand, don't have that emotional baggage, so they see the house's objective flaws. Basically, your stuff gets a secret, invisible, sentimental value tag the moment you acquire it, even if that sentiment is pure delusion. Number 11. The sunk cost fallacy. You're halfway through a truly terrible movie. The plot makes no sense, the acting is painful, and you've already checked your watch 17 times. But you paid for the ticket, right? And you've already invested an hour of your precious time. So you might as well stay and endure the cinematic torture, because to leave now would be to waste your money and time. Welcome to the sunk cost fallacy. Your brain's illogical insistence on continuing with an endeavor because of the resources you've already committed, even when it's clearly irrational to do so. This is why people keep pouring money into failing businesses, cling to dead-end relationships, or finish an entire plate of food they don't even like. The resources are sunk. They're gone. You'll never get them back, no matter what you do. But your brain hates the idea of admitting defeat or acknowledging a loss. It whispers, just a little more effort, and maybe it'll turn around. This mental trap is a goldmine for anyone selling subscriptions, memberships, or even war. Once you're in, it's hard to get out because of all the effort you've already put in. Basically, your past decisions are holding your future hostage, all because your ego hates a write-off. Number 10. Confirmation bias. You firmly believe that Mondays are inherently evil. Then on Monday, your coffee machine breaks, you hit every red light, and your boss sends a passive-aggressive email. See, you exclaim. Mondays are the worst. But did you notice all the good things that happened? Maybe you found a $5 bill, got a compliment on your shirt, or had a surprisingly productive meeting. Probably not. This is confirmation bias in action. Your brain's infuriating habit of seeking out, interpreting, and remembering information in a way that confirms your existing beliefs, while ignoring anything that contradicts them. It's like having a selective filter on your perception, allowing only data that fits your narrative to get through. This isn't just about bad Mondays. It's why political echo chambers exist, why people trust dubious sources that align with their worldview, and why arguing with someone about their deeply held beliefs often feels like talking to a brick wall. Your brain isn't trying to find the truth. It's trying to prove it was right all along. It's a comfortable, but intellectually lazy shortcut. Basically, your brain is a stubborn detective, only looking for clues that point to the suspect it already picked. Number 9. The bandwagon effect. Everyone's doing it. All your friends are buying that new trendy gadget, wearing those ridiculously oversized sneakers, or suddenly obsessed with competitive pickleball. And even if you secretly think the gadget is silly, the sneakers are hideous, and pickleball looks like glorified ping pong, there's a powerful urge to jump on board. This is the bandwagon effect, a cognitive bias where people do or believe things because many other people do or believe the same. It's the psychological force behind fads, viral challenges, and why you sometimes find yourself agreeing with a group, even when your gut says otherwise. It stems from our deep-seated need for social acceptance, and the unconscious assumption that if so many people are doing something, it must be right. Marketing teams love this, of course. Join millions of satisfied customers. Best-selling item. These aren't just statistics. They're subtle nudges designed to activate your herd mentality. Social media amplifies this to an insane degree, creating digital echo chambers where trends spread like wildfire, regardless of their actual merit. Basically, Your inner sheep just wants to fit in, even if it means sacrificing independent thought for collective absurdity. Got it? Here's your content exactly as provided. Number 8. The framing effect. Imagine you're told a new medical treatment has a 90% success rate. Sounds pretty good, right? You'd probably sign up. Now, what if you're told the exact same treatment has a 10% failure rate? Suddenly, it doesn't sound quite as appealing, does it? Even though 90% success and 10% failure convey the identical objective information, your brain processes them wildly differently based on how the information is framed. This is the framing effect, a cognitive bias where your decision-making is influenced by the way information is presented rather than just the facts themselves. Politicians are absolute maestros of this. They don't talk about tax increases. They talk about revenue adjustments. They don't mention job losses. They discuss workforce optimization. Marketers do it all the time, too. 80% fat-free sounds way healthier than contains 20% fat, even if it's the exact same product. Your brain is inherently lazy and prefers shortcuts. It's quicker to react to the positive or negative spin than to meticulously reevaluate the underlying data. This means that a clever word choice can completely alter your perception of risk, reward, or value, even when logic dictates it shouldn't. Basically, your decisions are often less about the truth and more about the linguistic wallpaper someone put over it. Number 7. The mere exposure effect. Remember that annoying pop song that you absolutely hated the first time you heard it? You swore it was the worst piece of musical garbage ever conceived, but then it kept playing. On the radio, in the grocery store, a snippet in a TikTok video, and gradually, almost imperceptibly, it started to grow on you. Eventually, you might even find yourself humming along, or dare I say, liking it. Congratulations, you've been mere exposed. The mere exposure effect is a psychological phenomenon where people tend to develop a preference for things merely because they are familiar with them. This isn't about deep appreciation, it's about comfort. Our brains are wired to prefer the familiar because it's perceived as safer and less threatening. Advertisers know this well. They don't expect you to fall in love with their product after one commercial. They just need to keep showing it to you over and over again until it becomes part of your mental furniture. That logo you see everywhere, it's not just branding, it's a constant, gentle nudge towards familiarity and, eventually, preference. It's why political candidates who get more airtime, even negative airtime, often become more recognizable and, surprisingly, more likable. Basically, your brain is a creature of habit, and repetition, even annoying repetition, eventually breeds affection. Number 6. The authority bias. You're scrolling through social media and you see a post about a new health trend. You might be skeptical, but then you see it's endorsed by a doctor. Perhaps not your doctor, maybe not even a real doctor, just someone in a white coat with a stethoscope around their neck. Suddenly, your skepticism melts away. Well, an expert said so. You think. This is the authority bias, your brain's tendency to attribute greater accuracy to the opinion of an authority figure, perceived or real, and be more influenced by that opinion. We're taught from a young age to respect authority, parents, teachers, police officers. This instinct carries over into adulthood, making us vulnerable to anyone who looks or sounds like an expert, even if their actual expertise is in, say, acting. Think about those infomercials where someone in a lab coat tells you why you absolutely need this specific brand of miracle cream. Or the way news outlets present controversial opinions as facts simply because they came from someone with a fancy title. The uniform, the jargon, the confident tone, these are all triggers for your brain to switch off critical thinking and simply defer. Basically, your inner child is still looking for someone in charge to tell them what to do, even if that someone is just playing dress-up. Number 5. The scarcity principle. You browse online and you see that perfect pair of shoes. Below the image, in angry red letters, it screams, "Only 3 left in stock." Or maybe it's "Sale ends in 2 hours and 37 minutes. Suddenly, those shoes aren't just shoes. They're a rapidly vanishing treasure. Your heart rate picks up, and your finger hovers over the Add to Cart button. This, my friend, is the scarcity principle playing your brain like a fiddle. We assign a higher value to things that are rare or dwindling in availability. This psychological hack taps into your primal fear of missing out, FOMO. If something is scarce, your brain assumes it must be valuable, desirable, and in high demand. Otherwise, why would it be almost gone? It creates an artificial sense of urgency, overriding rational thought. E-commerce sites, airlines, and event ticket vendors use this relentlessly. Limited edition, exclusive offer, almost sold out. These aren't just descriptions. They're psychological triggers designed to make you act now, before you have time to think whether you actually need or even want the item. Basically, your brain is convinced that the last cookie in the jar is always the best one, even if it's stale. Number 4. The reciprocity principle. Someone gives you a free sample of gourmet cheese at the grocery store. It's delicious. You didn't ask for it, but now you feel a tiny, almost imperceptible urge to buy something from their stand. Or maybe a charity sends you a small, personalized address label in the mail, hoping you'll donate. That slight feeling of obligation? That's the reciprocity principle at work. When someone gives you something, even if it's unsolicited, you feel a psychological compulsion to give something back in return. This isn't about charity, it's about social contracts. Our brains are wired for give-and-take relationships, and receiving a gift, no matter how small, triggers an unconscious desire to rebalance the scales. Salespeople use this when they offer you a free consultation or a no-obligation demo. The free part creates a subtle debt in your mind, making you more likely to listen to their pitch, or even feel pressured to make a purchase. It's a powerful tool because it exploits our ingrained sense of fairness. Basically, your brain is a meticulously kept ledger, and if someone puts something in, you feel compelled to make a deposit back. Confirmed. Here's your content exactly as provided. Number 2, the urgency trap. You're scrolling through an online store and suddenly a banner pops up. Flash sale, 15% off everything for the next 10 minutes only. Or maybe you're booking a flight and it warns you, only 2 seats left at this price. Your heart jumps, your palms get a little sweaty. You feel an immediate, overwhelming need to act now, before this incredible, and probably fabricated, opportunity vanishes into thin air. Welcome to the urgency trap, a psychological manipulation that exploits your brain's fear of missing out by creating an artificial deadline. This isn't about genuine scarcity, it's about perceived time pressure. Our brains, when faced with a rapidly closing window of opportunity, tend to bypass rational evaluation and jump straight to action. The thought isn't, do I need this? But if I don't get it now, I'll regret it. Websites use countdown timers, X people are viewing this item, and last chance notifications to trigger this primitive response. It's designed to short-circuit your critical thinking and push you into an impulsive decision. Basically, your brain goes into panic mode, convinced that every limited-time offer is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, even if the lifetime is only 10 minutes. Number 1. The social proof illusion. You're trying to decide which restaurant to pick for dinner. One is empty, silent, and looks a bit lonely. The other has a line out the door, people laughing inside, and a buzzing atmosphere. Even if the empty one has better reviews, your instinct screams, go where the crowd is. This is the social proof illusion, your brain's tendency to assume that the actions of others reflect the correct behavior, especially when you're uncertain or in an unfamiliar situation. If everyone else is doing it, it must be right. This bias is a cornerstone of marketing and influence. Most popular choice. Loved by millions, as seen on TV. These aren't just claims. They're signals to your brain that this product, idea, or behavior is validated by the collective. Online reviews, celebrity endorsements, and even the number of likes or shares a post gets are all forms of social proof, telling your unconscious mind, hey, all these other people can't be wrong, can they? It's why laugh tracks exist on sitcoms, why people clap longer at concerts if others are clapping, and why you might follow a group of tourists down a random alley, assuming they know where they're going. Basically, your brain is a reluctant trend follower, always looking to outsource its decision-making to the nearest crowd, even if that crowd is completely lost.